Sorry, Beverley Klein had to stop recording because she was so cross.
Yeah, I was a bit horrified by that.
Hey, Ali.
Hey there, Andrew.
It's the Showstopper Podcast.
Woohoo! Our monthly chat where we get to talk about musical theatre, improvisation and comedy with some real stars of the performance universe.
Absolutely. I love the idea of the performance universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's one big starlit sky up there, and we're lucky enough to reach up and pick down a different star every month and get a podcast chat with them. Absolutely
amazing. Is Showstopper a sort of solar system, or is it a planet within the solar system of, the West End theatre?
I think we're nitpicking here, but
No, I think we need to go deeper into this metaphor, Ali.
Okay.
You can't say something like the universe of performance and then not dissect it and take all the fun out of it.
Okay, right. Well, if we were a planet in the universe of performance, what do you think Showstopper would be? I suppose we'd be the red planet, wouldn't we?
Oh, okay. Your answer's probably better. I was going to say we exist in the Goldilocks zone. So we're Earth because, we're just in that perfect spot between legit theatre and comedy and, but yeah.
I think
we
that's
just wear
great.
red clothes, so we'll be the red planet.
Yeah, okay, that's easier. We'll just cut to that. I just love the fact that this has turned into the only two showstoppers who love a space setting.
And that's right.
Talking about space as they launch their podcast.
It's true. Backstage, anytime someone suggests NASA, there are like 5 sighs and me and Ali going, yeah, come on.
We love it, Andrew.
How many times have we had space as a setting when both me and you have been on? I don't think that many.
4 or 5 glorious times. So much fun.
Just tape everyone else's mouth shut.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, guys, we got this.
Maybe we should just write a space musical, Andrew.
I mean, that is the obvious result of this.
Yeah, it really is. Did you ever play Space Team?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you don't know Space Team, you can probably still get it on iOS or Android or whatever. And it's just this, I can't really describe it. Just download it and play Space Team with a big group of friends.
Yeah, it's the best group game you could possibly play.
Assuming you kind of vaguely like, sci-fi and that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say each other.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't think you need to like each other to play Space Team. In some ways, if you don't like each other, it'll make for a more exciting game. Just shouting sci-fi orders at each other.
Yeah, exactly. Talking of exciting.
Yes.
What a segue. This month's guest, the fantastic Beverley Klein.
Yeah.
Superstar performer, amazing CV spanning many decades with lots of incredible composers that she's worked with over the years and is currently starring in Cabaret as Fraulein Schneider.
And you're saying incredible CV. I think when we were discussing it earlier, the word intimidating came up. An intimidating CV because she's done it all.
In a very specific way, which she will talk more about in the chat. And what a lovely lady she is.
We recorded this backstage before one of our West End shows in January. Duncan Walsh Atkins was on keys and we had showstopper Matt Cavendish in the room with us.
So great to have Matt back in the fold. He's had such an amazing time over Christmas and New Year.
He's been on Broadway. He got a Broadway.com nomination. He sent out a brilliant tweet at the time saying, please vote for me in the Broadway.com, Best Performer Awards so I can finally stick it to my old nemesis, Samuel L. Jackson.
He's so great. Well deserved, that nomination. Fantastic work.
Absolutely.
By Matt there. What an amazing thing to have done, to go to Broadway with a show and have such glorious success.
And that was with Peter Pan Goes Wrong. He was telling me earlier he's been in for the last 10 years.
Wow.
How are we old enough for Matt to have been in this, on and off the same show in various guises for 10 years?
The fans just love him in that role. Nobody plays that crocodile like Matt Cavendish.
Absolutely.
Well, we really hope you enjoy this lovely chat with Beverley Klein because she really is such a beautiful performer and gives some lovely insights about the emotional relationship she has on stage every night and how she accesses that.
I love that you've given like a little preview of the chat there.
It's like being on Netflix.
Yeah.
Previously.
Awesome. Let's listen to it.
Yay, Beverley.
Welcome, Beverley Klein.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. How lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. And also in the room with us is showstopper guest this month, Matt Cavendish.
Hi there. How exciting. Yeah.
Thanks for coming in too.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Beverley.
Sorry, we should have gone woohoo.
Well, I know what an underwhelming
Should we retake it?
Matt,
Let's introduce him again.
I feel ashamed.
This month's showstopper guest, Matthew Cavendish.
Crowd went
Amazing.
wild.
I want
That's
a bigger
incredible.
one.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
It's going to take a while.
It's fine. It's fine. We're all in balance. Everything is cool.
Beverley, you are currently playing Fraulein Schneider in the massive West End revival of Cabaret.
So it would seem.
But I think a lot of people might be familiar with Cabaret from the movie and therefore a bit less familiar with the amazing part that is Fraulein Schneider.
That's very true.
Could you maybe just tell us a little bit about the character?
Yes, apparently, I think Kandra and Ebb were very cross with what's his name, who'd made the film?
Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse, thank you very much. This is something you will have to bear in mind. I can no longer remember anybody's name, however eminent. So please bear with me.
No
That's
worries.
all I'm saying. Apparently they were a bit cross with Bob Fosse because he eliminated what they considered in some ways to be the central storyline to a certain extent. I mean, obviously not from the books, which are fabulous, by the way. If you've never read them, Goodbye to Berlin, I read it for the first time. I can't imagine how I missed it, but I read Goodbye to Berlin for the first time just before starting the show, and it is so incredibly beautifully written. But anyway, in the original show, Fräulein Schneider and her lover, Herr Schultz, are very central characters. They are the kind of natural heart of the show in many ways, and also represent the political issue that was, of course, existing at the time in 1932. I think we are. I think sometimes when people come to see the show and they know they're Nazis and it's set in Berlin, they automatically think that it's all a settled deal and that Hitler's in power and the war is imminent. In fact, it's a good 5 years away, and Hitler is not even the Vice Chancellor at that time. So it explores the incipient situation at that time, and Fräulein Schneider is, as you say, an absolutely stonking part for an elderly actress like myself.
And with some of the best songs in the show as well. You get to sing So What, you get the Pineapple song.
That's right. I get 2 duets with my lovely Oppo, Herr Schultz, the Pineapple duet, and also Married, which is sort of mostly him, actually. But we get to lovingly dance together, slow foxtrot. That's what I call moving around more or less in time to the music in a circle. And I get a sort of biggish number at the end, which is... I find pretty much moving every night, and I've been doing it for 8 months or 9 months, whatever it is. So I still find it quite overwhelming, actually.
Yeah, and as you said, that relationship between Herr Schultz and Fraulein Schneider really does feel like the heart of the show. My one controversial opinion is I've never been that fond of the movie of Cabaret.
Whoa.
Because of that.
Whoa. Yeah. No, hold on a minute.
Sorry, Beverley Klein had to stop recording because she was so cross.
Yeah, I was a bit horrified by that. No, I think it's a brilliant show. But I was a huge fan of the movie when I was at university, and we went. Of course. Dear, I'm going to be honest, we didn't have DVDs in those days or any form of recording device. So you actually had to go and see it in the cinema. Yeah. And we did. Whenever it was on, we went to see it. I absolutely loved that film, and I probably have seen it, I don't know, countless times.
Yeah.
Countless times. They are very different animals.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's, potato, potato. No, it's potato, tomato.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, well, I loved the movie so much. I loved that green nail polish. And when I was growing up and falling in love with musical theatre, she was just everything you wanted to be,
Certainly.
as a young woman growing up into an actor. But I think the stage show, your role, I think that Pineapple song is one of the most romantic things I've ever seen. You know, in theatre, it's just, I can't help but fall apart every time I hear that song, no matter really who is singing it. It's the concept alone is just so beautiful.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah.
To create a love song from a gentleman producing a pineapple strawberry. See, I can't remember people's names, nor can I remember the names of fruits. It is the most outlandish device, really. So every night when we sing it, I am blown away, really, by the delicacy and the extraordinary humour in the song that's so innocent, I think. And then, of course, where it ends up is not giving too much away. It's not quite so innocent where it goes.
Yeah.
But no, it is. It's a wonderful thing. But like you, I actually think that seeing Cabaret is what made me think, well, maybe I could do musical theatre, because it hadn't ever been anything that I'd considered before that.
Yeah, she was so inspiring. Yeah. Fantastic. Matt, what do you reckon?
Well, I haven't seen the film for ages, and the stage show is sort of lodged in my head more clearly because I first saw that when my dad was a drama teacher at secondary school, so when I was little they'd done a production of it, so I saw that then when I was like 11 or 12. I remember thinking it was amazing. And then I saw it again when I was at drama school, assisted by Rebecca Frecknell. She's assistant director on that production. It's just an incredible show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd have to watch the movie again to have a fair assessment, I'm afraid. That's such a on the fence answer. Sorry.
It's okay. We've created an entirely false dichotomy. Beverley loves both. That's entirely acceptable.
I do. So, did you give Frex all her ideas then?
They're all from me as a student.
They were all
in
from
the first
you.
year of drama school. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I think you'll need this, that, and the other. No, it was a very different production, but. Just an interesting that, like, what is it, 15 years later she's gone on and directed a smash hit.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy working with her, Beverley?
To be honest, I didn't really work with Frex very much.
Right.
She came in because, of course, she directed it 2 years previously, and while she does come in and redirects, when we took over, there were only four of us. The two main characters and myself and Herr Schultz, there were only four of us coming in, and she was doing other stuff at the National. So she came in and corrected all the mistakes that our associate director, Jordan, who did direct us, all the mistakes he'd made. So, she was wonderful. She's very precise. She's very clear about what she wants. And, of course, she comes in, she looks like an 18-year-old student, really. You know, she's very firm and clear and direct, and actually her concept has stayed very powerful, I think, all the way through. So they're trying. I mean, it's quite hard, I think, when you direct something that had such a great success, but then you're having, like, the MC and the Sally are now leaving every 3 to 4 months, and so you're having new leads coming in. But to maintain the austerity and the clarity, rather, not the austerity, but the clarity of the vision of the piece, you've got to be strict. You've got to be firm.
Yeah.
She's charming as well. I have to say, she's not. She's not to make her sound quite scary. This kind of 17-year-old geography student, scary person. But she's not like that at all. She's very kind.
And you alluded to how you started off then when you said about university. So what were those years like when you were first beginning your career as a musical theatre performer?
Well, it was. What were those years? When I started in the business, it was really different.
Right, yeah.
It really was different. I mean, I am knocking on a bit now. So like I said, I didn't really know that I wanted to be in musical theatre. And I'm not kidding when I say that Liza Minnelli was my sort of go-to figure. But there really wasn't so much of a musical theatre tradition in the country, really, in those days. I mean, of course, there were certain shows but it was nothing like it is now. And there weren't shows that really originated here, I think, until, well, I did the original Les Mis, production of Les Mis, in, what would that have been, 83, and then it was the onslaught of the British are coming and the shows that Cats and all the Andrew Lloyd Webber shows and all of that sort of thing. But until then, I mean, I can remember when I was at drama school, I did a postgrad course at drama school, and I remember being introduced to Stephen Sondheim by my flatmate who came over. He was a student, but he'd come over. He'd been teaching at a high school of performing arts in America, and he came over with all his reel-to-reel tapes in big boxes of all these musicals, and he started playing Stephen Sondheim to me. Well, I'd never heard the like. I didn't know any of them, and I don't know many people that did. I can remember the first time hearing Sweeney Todd, I practically fell over with it was just incredible to me. So this was all a revelation, really, and so it's my career in that way. I mean, I really hadn't planned to be a musical theatre performer, and to be honest, I suppose I am. That is what I am. Yeah, that is mostly what I've done, really.
And you've done Sweeney Todd yourself,
I
haven't you?
have, yes. Yeah, that was one of my favourite roles, really. I did Sweeney Todd for an opera company. I did it for Opera North. I was thrilled to be asked to do it, but I was a bit dubious because I thought, what's it going to be like working for an opera company? In fact, the director of our show is now since had a knighthood, and the assistant director is now the eminent director and creator of, everyone's talking about, Jamie, and so I was in good hands, but I didn't realise it at the time, and it was a fantastic production. But I think because it was an opera company production, I'm not sure it was taken seriously at the time by the business, really. They thought, what are opera companies doing this kind of work? It was a wonderful production, and Sondheim came. And
do you have a Sondheim story? We collect Sondheim stories on the Showstopper podcast.
Well, no, I don't really. I don't really. I just thought I was so scared of him that I kind of kept my distance, really. And I can't say he sought me out. Come over and shake my hand. I remember he loved the chair. The chair, because the chair was done, because what they used, I think, in the production, I saw Sweeney Todd 7 times when it opened in London. I had a ticket for the last night. I couldn't go because I had one of my first jobs in rep, and so my little seat remained empty, which I regret to this day, because I had a recording, a bootleg recording of it somewhere, and it sounded like a hell of a night, really. But so I saw it 7 times, but they had a chair that swiveled and went down sideways. Well, our team at Opera North developed a chair where it was on a hydraulic and people went down sort of feet first, directly down. And Sondheim loved that. He did love that.
A garbage chute.
The garbage chute, exactly. Yeah. But he came to see us. We were in Newcastle, I think, and I was so nervous I couldn't eat beforehand, and I took too many ibuprofen. I ended up in A&E with somebody. Yeah, I know. I had terrible stomach pains from these ibuprofen, which I have to be very careful of nowadays. So I was so nervous. I think I'd had a glass of port, half a sandwich, and a cup of coffee, and Sondheim's coming, and so it was.
This was a great Sondheim story.
Was it? Well,
excellent.
It was more about my ineptitude than him, really. But anyway,
and I love that after all of that, what he says is, I love the chair.
Love the chair. Volunteer, I want that chair.
And you performed with opera companies a few times, have you? With Carla Rose and Eno, and
Yeah.
where do you regard yourself on that sort of spectrum of musical theatre, legit singer, opera singer?
I'm absolutely not a legit singer at all. Really, really not. I've worked with stonking singers, and I don't consider myself to be. I really consider that I sing lyrics. In time to music. My voice is sort of workable. I think that's the thing. I think I've tailored my vocals to to the demands of the drama.
Yeah.
But really, the lyrics are the most important thing for me.
It's nice to hear someone come from it from that angle. I think it's because a lot of people get involved because they love to sing, which is great.
Yeah.
But musical theatre is storytelling. It's a slightly different thing than just singing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but I've worked with stonking singers, and there are certain roles that really require that.
Yeah.
You want the, big loud notes, or you want, or like, for example, something like Sunset Boulevard. I don't think I could get away with playing that role. I think you need to be a bigger singer, you need to be a bigger belter than I'm capable of doing. But I think that's why, I mean, if I say I've chosen the roles that I've played, that implies that I've had more choice than actually as actors, as we know.
Yeah.
People say, how do you choose your roles? Well, I'm not. I don't choose my.
Does it pay? No, I'll take it. That's my usual.
Yeah. Are they offering actual money? Oh, yeah, I know. But I think I have chosen what not to go up for in terms of, I think that's not for me. And I have sort of avoided... Really, I've avoided the West End, possibly to my own detriment, but it's not been... If I've ended up in the West End, it's been sort of by chance in a way, because things have transferred from somewhere else. So it wasn't, particularly after Les Mis. After doing a year of Les Mis, I realised that wasn't really for me, and now I've ended up doing a year in cabaret, and I'm practically on my last legs. Never do a year.
How do these contracts sort of feature in your life? What's your sort of lead up to going to work each day? Do you have a bit of a preparation routine?
Bed.
Yeah.
I stay in bed as long as possible.
Great, yeah.
Well, it's different now that I'm older, I think. I think playing Fräulein Schneider at my age is really very 8 shows a week. It's a very long show, and as somebody more eminent than I said many years ago, it's not the show, it's the stairs.
Yeah.
The way that the theatre is set up, we are downstairs in the basement. Everywhere is 2 flights up, and of course we're in the round as well. This sounds very trite, but it's true. It's about stamina, isn't it? And I do find it really very tiring. 8 shows a week, but I'm not alone. I mean, Emma Stone was being interviewed at the Golden Globes recently, and they were asking her about being on Broadway, and she said she didn't think she could do it again. She said doing cabaret on Broadway, she thought, well, it's 3 hours a night, it'll be a doddle, because she's used to those kind of early morning calls or, night shoots or whatever. And she said it was the hardest thing that I think she said it was the hardest thing she'd ever done.
Wow.
So, you think, yes, Emma, it's hard. As I think she said, you have to be so careful. You're like a nun. Well, I'm like a nun anyway in my practices. But you can't drink, you can't play fast and loose. I mean, all right, when you're younger, there's certain roles maybe you can. I mean, when we were in Les Mis, we'd be out. We'd go. That was a 3.5 hour show in those days. They've cut it down since I did it. I remember going back. I lived round the corner from the Palace Theatre for a decade. And I remember going past the Palace Theatre and seeing people coming out and thinking, it's only 10:30. What's happened? Has there been a show stop? Did the Revolve break down? No, they cut half an hour off it, so they wouldn't have to pay the orchestra so much. Overtime.
Les Mis lightweights.
Yeah, Les Mis lightweights, exactly.
Going back to Les Mis, did you get any sense when you were creating the show and part of that original company that it was going to be the massive monster that it turned out to be?
No, I don't think anybody did.
Yeah.
We had, as I'm sure people will always say about it, we had very mixed reviews.
Yeah.
It was I had people coming during previews. It was very long in previews as well. We did have revolves breaking down, and there were different setups. We started Act 2, I think, all lying on top of each other like a heap of mud, the Les Miserables, and then we all sort of came to life, I remember. But I had musician friends of mine came, and they left in the interval.
Oh, wow.
But we had no real idea of what it was going to be, I think. And Cameron McIntosh, he had great faith in it. Trevor Nunn always loved the piece. It wasn't really my cup of tea, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
And even now, I did see the film of it on Sky Arts or something, and I thought it was very good. But it was never really my style of musical, particularly. But we had a stonking time. Some of those people are still best friends of mine. I sat next to one of them yesterday by accident at the theatre, and we reminisced a little bit about... No, perhaps I shouldn't say. I went to see Pacific Overtures, and I was reminding her of how I had to go and see it while we were doing Les Mis, and I had to do a bit of a sneaky day off to go and see it. I thought I'd never get a chance again, and I went to see it up in Manchester at the Wythenshawe, which was fantastic. I don't regret it, but I did get into a little bit of trouble.
I think probably the statute of limitations on that has run out now.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to get into trouble.
I hope so.
It's also a pretty legit reason to miss a rehearsal day or a work day, isn't it?
It was a work.
It's not like you were
doing
going
it
out and
for a
smoking a
while.
spliff on the hill. You know, watching a song.
No, I was desperate to see it. That's how much of a Sondheim fan I was in those days, particularly.
You mentioned Sweeney Todd. You were also the witch in Into the Woods.
Yeah, I've done Into the Woods a couple of times, actually. I did it. First of all, I did it at the Opera House in the Limbury studio. So it's their little studio downstairs amongst very eminent company surrounding me. Clive Rowe and Anna Francolini. It was a wonderful cast. Anna Francolini. Annie Reid, marvellous, playing Jack's mother. Sorry if I haven't mentioned your name, anybody who's listening. Barely remember my own these days, as I've indicated on a number of occasions. So we did that. It was a bit unfortunate because I'd agreed to do it and was very much looking forward to it. And then a production of Fiddler on the Roof came up, which we did in Sheffield. And then the production was transferring to the West End. And it got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed to a point where it clashed with Into the Woods. And so at one point I was rehearsing both of them at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
And of course they each said, we'll make it work for you, and neither of them did. God love them both, but that was quite tough. So I went off for 5 weeks and did Into the Woods at the Opera House. It was a terrific production, I think. And then more recently, I did it in France at the Châtelet. Yeah. No, I've done a couple of things. I've done a few things in France, 2 of them at the Châtelet.
A venue that we've mentioned on the podcast when we had Christina Bianco along, who was in Funny Girl there.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never been out there, but it sounds like there's amazing work going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Châtelet, my dear friend Lee, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago, he did a series of musicals there. He did Sweeney. He did Sunday in the Park with George, which I was in, and he did Into the Woods, and I can't remember, did he do one after that? Can't remember. anyway, as I say, sadly, he's no longer with us. But the Châtelet then was the sort of go-to place for musicals. I think now it's moved over to the Lido, which is now being run by Jean-Luc Chopin, who was running the Châtelet at the time. So I went last year to see Cabaret.
Yes, so Nick Myers was in that version, right?
Nick was in that production.
So she went from that
she was, who's the alternate Sally Bowles, who joined us a couple of months ago when the new cast took over. And a couple of friends of mine. It was directed by Robert Carson, who I've done Candide with, and also Tour de France with the Beggars Opera. So I've been really lucky, actually, to work on those sorts of productions. I think it combined the elements of musical theatre that suited me, and which is what I mean when I say that I can't say how did you choose which shows you were going to do. I choose what, as I said, what not to go up for. And so I think it was that combination of the more serious musical theatre combined with working for an opera company, which makes people think that I'm a singer and I'm not. So they always say crossover production. Well, what makes this a crossover production? And I remember somebody said to me, "You," because I'm not. I was not. Everybody else were like singers, and I wasn't.
I did say to Andrew earlier, actually, Beverley, I love your CV because it does seem very specific. I have to say, it's so lovely, and it seems to have a real flavour to it. And it's must have been very satisfying. Is there anything you'd like to do? Are there any parts you'd love to play?
I think there's a couple of parts that I've missed out on that I would have liked to have done. I would have liked to have done Passion. I feel as if I understood Fosca, and I felt I knew how to make her obsessive, but sort of not likeable necessarily, but I felt I knew that I could make an audience want her to get what she got in the end, even though no spoilers, but she does die. But I felt I knew how to do that, but I never got the chance, and sadly too old for it. Are there things I want to do? I think I want to not do 8 shows a week.
Fair enough.
I think I want to do telly,
just
great. Get out of my pub, a bit of that.
Lovely. Well, we'll manifest it.
And Matt, you haven't been on the podcast for a while. I'm not sure if we've asked you this question. We'd like to ask everyone. Is there a part that you haven't played that you'd love to play?
There's lots of parts I haven't played. Almost all the parts.
All the parts.
Yeah. I don't know. It's less a part and more like... I want a flavour of Beverley's career. I'd like to be in one of those great, big commercial musicals that are not like raw entertainment commercial musicals, but sort of have an acting side to them.
You want to play Fraulein Schneider?
I want to play Fosca in Passion.
Great.
Yeah.
We will manifest that for you as well,
Thank you very
Matt.
much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
I think it's time for us to play a little game.
Ooh,
We've got a
yes,
little game
please.
prepped. Okay.
How wonderful.
This month's game that I've got prepped here, it's kind of like a higher or lower kind of game.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask a question, and it's got an impossible to guess numerical answer, each one, and it's whoever's closest to it.
Okay.
So I'll start with each of you, and then the other two can, go higher or lower than that. So I'm going to start with Matt. So this is about long-running West End productions.
Okay.
So the longest-running West End production as of July 2022. This is slightly old because I got this from Statista.com, and the statistics for 2023 aren't in yet. So it's all as of July 2022.
It's like
the
AI.
longest-running West End production as of July 2022 is The Mousetrap.
Sure.
With 28,735 performances. Sorry. The second longest running production is Les Miserables, with how many performances? So the longest running, 28,000, The Mousetrap. Matt, you're up to guess first.
Okay. 23,400.
Okay, 23,400 is Matt's guess. Ali, what's your instinct? Are you going to go higher or lower?
I'm going to go lower and go for 21,000.
Okay, 21,000 is Ali's guess.
Yeah.
And Beverley, what's your guess?
We're back to the Châtelet.
I thought we were doing the improv song thing. No.
Wait for it, Beverley. Wait for it.
I'm going higher.
Okay.
Higher, okay. And do you want to guess at an exact?
Well, it would be 40 times 52 times 8.
Rayman.
So that would be 4,000 times 4,000 times 40, which is 4,000 times 40. Oh no, this is too boring for your audience.
I'm going to press you on higher. Okay. I'll tell you are all too high.
Oh.
So, in fact, Ali was the closest with 21,000.
Congratulations.
The answer is 14,490 performances of Les Mis.
Come on,
in
Les
the West End
Mis.
since 1985.
What are you playing at? Let's
Not
get
trying,
some more
not
shows
trying.
out.
Okay, so that is 1
10
point.
shows a week.
1 point to Ali. In 2022, a total of 44,237 theatre performances took place in the UK.
Wow.
As a whole. That's total number of performances. Right.
Okay.
But what I want to know is, what was the attendance in terms of number of people in London over the same time period? So how many people went to the theatre across an entire year?
1,000,008.
1.8 million. Beverley, you're going to go higher or lower?
I'm going lower.
Going to go lower than 1 million. Do you want to have a guess and answer?
I would say 800,000.
800,000. And Matt, you're going to go...
I'm going higher.
You're going to go higher? What are
Yeah.
you going to go for?
6 million.
6 million.
Oh my God.
I can tell
Wow.
you're all too low. It was 16.4 million attendances.
Wow.
I remember that when we were fighting for the arts in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And also as a football fan,
Yeah.
the stat came out that actually millions more people go to the theatre every year than go to
Yeah.
watch football.
My
live.
goodness.
There we go.
I remember that being true.
Yes,
I have
that
no
was
concept
of how
of
many
numbers,
millions are-
clearly. None whatsoever.
The sad news is it's another number question.
Yeah.
So here we go. Beverley, this is your one. Theatre Royal Drury Lane has a capacity of 2,196. How many seats does the London Palladium have?
1,500.
1,500. Matt, are you going to go higher or lower? 1,500.
I used to work front of house at the
Oh,
London, so
there's a ringer.
10 years ago, should know this. I'm going higher.
You know, higher. What are you going to go for?
2,400.
2,400. Okay, 2,400. Ali, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to go lower than Matt, higher than Beverley. 2,100 seats.
The answer is 2,196.
Well done, Ali.
Wow.
I think that's 2 points for Ali there. 2 points for Ali.
Excellent.
One more question each. Last year, Matt, it was reported that the most expensive West End ticket topped out at £303.70, including booking fee. But on average, theatre tickets in the UK cost what on average?
Across the UK.
Across the UK, across all ticket bands, what's the average price for going to the theatre?
£43.50.
£43.50. Ali, higher or lower?
£76 higher.
£76 higher. Beverley?
I go in the middle, £50.
53. The answer, I was shocked by this. This is according to Statista.com. If you disagree at home, take it up with them. Apparently, the average is £27.10.
Wow.
Wow.
Much
Good.
lower. There you go.
I guess there's a lot of regional theatre out there that's bringing that average down, which is
Yeah.
great.
And Edinburgh.
Absolutely.
And Edinburgh, yeah.
Currently, 2 points to Matt, 3 points to Ali, because you got 2 points there. Beverley, yet to score, but this might be the one.
I don't care, listeners.
Lower the stakes before the
Fair
final
enough.
round.
That's in your ear. Just in
Ali,
case you're worried about me.
according to account from the Society of London Theatre, there are 241 theatres across London.
Okay.
But as of 2022, I think, how many of those theatres are eligible for Olivier Awards?
I reckon 170.
Sorry, I zoned out of how many.
241 theatres.
241
How many
theatres.
of them are official West End eligible for Olivier Awards?
Most of the ones that I haven't appeared in, I would say 50.
50. So we had 76, 50, and Matt?
I'm going to go between 60.
60. The answer, Beverley gets the point, 46.
46.
Wow.
Well done, Beverley.
Very interesting question there.
It sounded almost disingenuous.
Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. I'm glad I'm playing this
I
game.
would
Really
say
interesting.
the most interesting question.
Okay.
Really?
Final question.
Okay.
Final question.
I thought that was the final question. Sorry.
He's leading us on. With
Almost
the
done. Almost done. Here we go. It's 1 point to Beverley, 2 points to Matt, 3 points to Ali.
Yeah.
This question is worth 20 points.
Okay,
Just
cool.
to put a bit of
Take
intrigue
it all.
into the final round.
Right, raising the stakes again.
The first permanent London theatre was built by James Burbage and aptly named The Theatre. What year did it open?
Oh, you're looking at me.
sorry,
I'm so
sorry,
sorry. I don't.
first.
Sorry, radio silence. There, you're not allowed that on the
Thinking,
radio,
lots of
are you?
thinking.
That was terrible. 1538.
1538. Matt, higher or lower?
That was about the ballpark I was going in.
I was
so,
thinking 15.
Let's go higher with 1550.
1550. Ali?
I'm going to go for 1533.
So, that was sneaky.
Oh, yeah, that's just...
That
Very
Ali's now
sneaky.
discovered the tactics of this game. So we had 1532, was it? 1538, 1533 from Ali, and 1550 from Matt. I can tell you the 20 points goes to Matt Cavendish. It was 1576.
Yes!
Can you
Drury
believe
Lane.
it?
Is it Drury Lane? Is it Drury Lane?
I have no further facts about it.
Statista.com.
There we go. Matt.
Right, I'm taking
thrilled.
off my mic. I'm walking out, everybody. That's it. Crackle, crackle.
Wow.
There we go. Congratulations,
Thank you
Matt.
very much. I couldn't be happier. Love to win.
Excellent. Well, that was really fascinating, wasn't it? It's a good job we're actors and not producers because our numbers game is not strong.
I was impressed by how close a lot of those answers were.
Okay, great.
Hey, Beverley,
Yeah.
would you like to make up a song with us?
No.
Beverley, are you going to make up a song with us anyway?
Hooray!
Let's do it.
Beverley, shall we sing about how we loved Liza when we were younger?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, superb.
Liza with a Z, Liza with a zing, Liza with a zap. Liza, we love you to sing for us. You made us what we are.
Liza with a Z. Liza with the zap. Liza with the hat. Liza with the nails. Liza, you made us what we are.
Liza as Sally started my heart go pitter, pitter, pitter pat. Liza on a chair with that bowler hat.
Oh, maybe this time, cabaret. I remember how you stole my heart away.
Maybe she'll be lucky today. Liza with a Z.
Liza with a Z.
Liza with a zap.
Liza with a zap.
Liza, we love you. You made us wanna be you. Though seriously, we could never be you. You with those legs
Beverley, thank you so much for joining us. How was that, making up a little song with us?
Well, I thought it wasn't going to be terrifying, and then it was kind of terrifying, and then you were all very helpful, even though I went completely blank at one point, and I think screamed to fill the awful gap. But otherwise, it's fun. Thank you so much. You've been very friendly and very kind.
You can catch Beverley playing Fraulein Schneider at the Kit Kat Club.
Well, I'll be there for another few months. If you can make it.
Get there quick. Brilliant. Beverley, one last thing we'd like to do is to get you to sing the credits of our show. If we give you the lyrics, will you be up for singing them for us?
The Showstop podcast hosted by Ali James and Andrew Pugsley. This month's guest was me, Beverley Klein. The Showstopper guest was Matthew Cavendish, and Duncan Walsh Atkins was on those keys. It was mixed and edited by Andrew Pugsley. Production support from Susanna Rosenthal. I know her. Charlotte Lund, Kayleen Kine and Ellie Grice for Something for the Weekend. That's my song. Find us all on the social channels and our website, www.showstopperthemusical.com. Thanks for listening.